It's the Big Trav and Q Show.
What they waiting for?
Just another damn podcast. Now let's go.
That's right. Let's go. Let's go. What's up, y'all? Big Trav in the building. The Big Trav and Q Show. What's up, Q?
Big Trav, how you doing, baby? You ready to get it in?
Oh yeah. For sure, man. You know what, man? I was looking at yesterday's show. That shit was hilarious, man. Man, yesterday's show was absolutely hilarious, man. We just
going down memory lane, huh?
That was pretty interesting, man. So yeah, that conversation on Corrupt and Snoop and West Coast rappers, man, that was something else, man. That was something else. But anyway, I want to welcome you guys to the Big Trav and Q Show, and before we get started, we're gonna handle our business. Make sure you go follow us on Instagram. All the social media handles are on the page right down there. Go over and subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to get our numbers up, because like I continue to say, when we reach out to people for interviews, especially celebrities, they're gonna take a look and see who rocking with us, and if they don't see a lot of people rocking with us, they're gonna be reluctant to give us an interview. So make sure you guys help us out on that aspect, right, Q?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Just some recaps from yesterday. I want to thank DJ Kai for calling in yesterday. DJ Kai is a DJ out of Bakersfield, California, over on the West Coast, and we enjoyed his perspective on our conversation on West Coast MCs, and the biggest takeaway from him is that he said he don't consider Tupac a West Coast MC. He said he considered him an East Coast. That was an interesting perspective. So did you get any feedback from that? Anybody say anything to you about that?
No, not really, because he was kind of dual coast back then, but I didn't get any feedback on that. But what I would love to do is I had thought about reaching out to my digital family and getting their perspective on that, because I think they're very credible on that. So I'm gonna see if I can make that happen for you, Big Trav.
Money B.
Money B, Shock G, you never know.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, we would enjoy some additional perspective on who's nice, the nice MCs on the West Coast. And speaking of West Coast MCs, Ice Cube, this Saturday is the 30th anniversary of the America's Most Wanted album. Let me throw it up on the screen right there. There you go. There go the album cover right there. My man Ice Cube, the 30th anniversary, man. Oh man, that was dope, man. That was
What was you doing back then, man? Do you remember when that album dropped?
I actually do, man, because that was back in the days when we done listening parties. I mean, we were, me and my crew, we were first of all, we was West Coast fans. We was so West Coast. We was feeling everything the West Coast was throwing. And in saying that, we was NWA fans, and we thought, even when they was NWA, of course we thought, well, let's go back to Dope Man with Ice Cube. We started rocking with Dope Man, and Ice Cube, and the Eazy-E was on there too. And so what was he? Dope Man, was that wasn't both of them? Both of them was on there, right? Yeah, Dope Man. Okay. And then we rock with that, and then we became a fan then, and then when he left the group, that was with me and my crew. That was a big deal. That was a big deal when he left the crew, man. We was like,
what was you thinking?
Well, we were speculating. Well, we had a couple thoughts. Our two biggest thoughts was, we was like, Ice Cube is NWA. So we was like, what NWA gonna do? We was like, Ice Cube is NWA, and then we were also like, what is Ice Cube gonna do now? We was like, we enjoyed the whole group, so we was worried about Ice Cube. We was worried about Ice Cube. We knew he was nice, And you know what? And just recently, when I was just getting information for the 30th anniversary story, I follow Ice Cube on Instagram, and I went on his page, and he was sharing photos. This is the 30th anniversary week, so he was sharing photos and memories from that album, and he showed some pictures that I had never seen before. It was pictures with all of the East Coast artists. He showed a picture of like him and Redman. He said it was the first time I met Redman. He said it was the first time I met Public Enemy. Public Enemy, the Bomb Squad, they the producers. The Bomb Squad was Public Enemy's producer, and they helped Ice Cube out with that album, and they helped get him back on track, man. So he was sharing pictures from him from the America's Most album, and it was it was pictures of him with the East Coast artists, and because you look back to that time in that album, and he didn't want people to know that he kind of didn't. Well, he mentioned the Bomb Squad on the album, but he kept it real low key that he fucked with the East Coast to do that album. He kept it real low key. Did you think that too? It wasn't. I remember at the time it wasn't a big deal that the Bomb Squad was helping him with the album. I didn't see him in interviews like, I went over to New York and hey, shout out to the East Coast and the Bomb Squad for helping me out. I never heard those words come out of his mouth. How about you? Yo, my dude always do this to me, man. He jump on the other.
I said same here.
I didn't hear that. Yep.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he kept it low key that the East Coast helped him get back on track. So and even to this day, you just never hear that come out. You never hear him, talk about. It's not. I mean, you just don't. You would think that he would, shout him out a little bit more, for helping him get on track after he left NWA. But it's cool. It's cool. I'm still gonna rock with him. He's still my dude. Okay. What was some of your favorite tracks off of that, man?
Ice Cube's debut album.
Yeah. You know what?
Oh man,
let me.
crazy.
God, I wish you could see the screen because my plan. I thought I had loaded them up for the show. I know I got them on my phone, but the track listing. I thought I threw it on the pad, but here it go. I'm just gonna go over some of them because I forgot to put it on the screen. Oh man, just all of this, man. The Nigga You Love to Hate, America's Most Wanted, What They Hitting For. Oh, I used to love that, man. I wish we could play all of this, man. I mean, we could play a little bit of it. You Can't Fade Me, Once Upon a Time in the Projects. Hilarious. Turn off the radio. Endangered Species, Tales from the Hood, man. I remember that. Gangster Fairy Tale.
What about Get Off My Dick, nigga?
Yeah,
and tell your
bitch to come here. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that was dope, man. The Drive By. Hell yeah, I remember the Drive By skit.
Once About a Time in the Ghetto was my jam, man.
I know.
That one used to go so hard. Of course, A Man's World with Ice Cube and Yo-Yo used to. That was. I mean, I had never heard a female come so hard like Yo-Yo. I was like, yo, here's what they think about you. Get off my gate move. Get off my gate.
Exactly.
Like,
dope, man. And
that was dope. That whole album was fire.
Right. It was, man. And
but what kills me about you, Trav, when NWA came back with 100 Miles and Running, I asked you, I said, Trav, do you remember 100 Miles and Running? And you went like, no. I said, wow.
No.
So,
no. And then I remember that episode. I remember watching that episode. And then I came back and said, no, I was just playing.
Because that was an EP. That was an EP.
Yeah. I was just playing. I said, I remember that. But yeah, no, yeah, of course I remember that, man. I remember the 100 miles and running. Like I told you, me and my crew, we were NWA fans. We was Dr. Dre fans. We was so West Coast, man. We wasn't on no East Coast shit, man. We was strictly West Coast, man. That's why that's why I'm not a Wu-Tang fan. Because when Wu-Tang was popping, Dr. Dre and them was popping, and I wasn't fucking with the East Coast, man. I meant if Wu-Tang shit didn't sound like the West Coast shit, so I was rocking with the West Coast, man. And they shit wasn't like grindy and sinister, like what was popping on the West Coast, man. So that's why I don't feel Wu-Tang, man. They this iconic group, but I'm just one dude. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. I can't rock with them. I do not play no Wu-Tang Clan, man, on purpose.
Right. Well, I don't need you to have that energy on that. But I get where you're going with that.
Right.
But Trav, I want to give a shout out to Denisha Butler. She's been listening to us today. She's been on here.
What's up, Denisha?
I just want to give her a shout out. She's been really enjoying the show. She's been telling me how she really loves our dynamic and what we've been doing and how we're very interesting. And she likes to throw me topics and say, hey, you guys should talk about this and talk about that. And I told her, I said, we love females' perspectives.
Call her.
Hey,
call her.
I told her to call in.
Okay.
And
you don't have her number? You don't have her number?
Well, no, she hits her. I watch. She's on. On our chat.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, call in, Denisha. What's up, girl? Call in, man. We want to hear what you think, man. We enjoy having company on the Big Trav and Q show. So
yeah,
but yeah,
but I love what you're talking about. When Ice Cube, you right about everything, because it was like people. In Detroit, we was like, why would Ice Cube leave? They just getting started. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It wasn't like they had 2 or 3 albums in, and then it was time. Back then, it wasn't really heard about, groups breaking up and all that other stuff. So, but then when 100 Miles and Running hit, I remember the storyline from that. But then when Niggas from Life came out, it was like, yo.
Niggas for Life was,
yes.
You know what? That was just so dope, man. The album was just so dope, man. Oh, man.
Come on, Trav. Come on, Trav. Let's say it with me. We had a dope beat.
Somebody told me
that did it. But if Dre
he didn't do it, I can't fuck with it. NWA is like a mix of tricks to fix real niggas with big dicks. Yeah.
Shout out to MC Ren.
Yeah, MC Ren, man. MC Ren.
Man. Hard.
Oh, come on, man. Ren underrated, man. Yeah.
I know, that's crazy, man. Crazy. So I heard you got some good topics for us today, man.
Well, you know what? Well, you know what? Okay, we already covered the Ice Cube deal. Let's get into the. We didn't cover Andre Harrell. Let me throw that up on the screen right there.
Okay.
Let me just read this. Well, if you guys didn't know, I'm thinking everybody. But you know what? Andre Harrell. You know what? We lost Little Richard. And we lost what's her name? Betty Wright.
We lost Betty Wright.
Yeah, we lost Betty Wright.
What's her name?
Yeah.
A legend. And you say, what's her name?
And you know what? I was watching
Little Richard too.
Yeah, Little Richard. And I was watching Entertainment Tonight, and they covered Betty Wright and they covered Little Richard and Ben Stiller and Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's father. But they didn't bring up Andre Harrell. I was really I don't know,
disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed. I just wonder, why his death didn't make the cut. And the reason why I wondered it was because he discovered Diddy. He discovered Diddy, one of the biggest artists in the world, and I thought that maybe he was Diddy's mentor. At one point, and I thought maybe they would mention it, but that's okay because we're gonna shed some light on Andre Harrell here. It says, while at the helm of Uptown Records, it says Harrell gave several artists like the Mogul, Sean Diddy Combs, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, Heavy D, Al B. Shore, and Teddy Riley the big break. He would also go on to produce television shows like New York Undercover and films including Strictly Business and Honey. And so if you didn't know that about Andre Harrell, and you probably can tell I didn't know it because of the way I read it. Well, no,
silly, man.
Well, I didn't know he done Honey, but I knew everything else. But yeah, you know, so he was very influential, and he was very influential in the beginnings of hip hop. So I still don't think nobody has gave him his just due. Teddy Riley done a tribute to him. Keith Sweat kind of done something for him. I think Premier done something for him, but I don't think it was big enough. I thought he had a bigger impact on the hip hop beginnings, and I thought they should have shed more light on that. So what do you make? What is your perspective on his impact on hip hop?
First and foremost, man, I mean, when you think about Andre Harrell, you think about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Exactly.
I don't know if you was up on that.
Yeah, I remember. They was whacked. But anyway, go ahead. I remember when they was out, and I remember I used to, you know what? I used to call people Dr. Jekyll. You know, like I remember back in the day, somebody would, you know, we used to be like rapping to one another, and somebody would rap whack, and I would be like, with your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde flow, you know, because I thought they, at the time, rest his soul, but yeah, that was the beginning. There was some dudes rapping in suits, man. What did you expect? You know, I mean, like in business suits. I'm not talking like no Rick James shit. Not no Prince shit. They was rapping in suits and ties, man. What the hell?
Well, Uptown Records, man. Moving right along.
Records. Right.
Uptown Records was just, I mean, it was epic, man. I mean,
first of all, he redeemed himself. He redeemed himself, though. He redeemed himself.
I can't start with you. But what I really jumped onto the Harrell band when I saw LL Cool J walk in that door,
right,
on Crush Groove.
Damn, I wish I had.
And I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I mean, just the talent back then. And I don't like comparing, even though we have these discussions just to have them, about the discussions about the different eras and stuff like that. But when I saw that situation, I was like, yo, that whole Crush Groove era and the Fat Boys and all of that, and who had influences on what. And then to hear that Andre Harrell had influences with Heavy D. If it hadn't been for Andre Harrell, we wouldn't have Heavy D. We wouldn't have Al B. Shore, Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. I mean, you can go on and on about all the people who was influenced. Now, the downside, if you want to say there's a downside, or when I got off the Andre, trail was when the whole Tupac situation happened, when he was there the night Tupac got shot at Quiet's studio. So a lot of highs, a lot of lows. But as far as knowing the whole storyline about Andre Harrell, he's somebody that people need to really go back and study and see. It's just like if I ask you, Trav, if I say, Trav, do you know who Bob Johnson is?
Right, from BET.
There he is. Had me scared. So when you talk about somebody like Bob Johnson, how influenceable he was with opening and starting BET, and how people like Andre Harrell, if you really go back and read Bob Johnson's book, the $1 Million Spot, the opening of BET, it's a great read, by the way. Shameless plug. He talks about having meetings with Andre Harrell and how they used to how Andre used to send them just all these different videos. And he was like, what am I going to do with all these videos? You know, he was like, I don't know, I'm BET, but Black Entertainment Television, but he had no organization about the structure, about how his whole, the TV show was going to be set. That's like me and you starting the podcast, but we ain't got no continuity. We just say, we got the cameras, we got everything, and then we say, well, what's the show going to be about? What are we going to do? It was no structure behind it. You know what I mean? So
hold on.
Okay.
Denisha.
Yes.
Is this
Hi.
What's up, Denisha?
Hello.
How you doing? Q.
I'm doing great.
Q, say what's up to Denisha.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And glad to meet you. How's everything going today?
Everything is going great. Can't complain.
Good. How are you holding up during the quarantine? You've been practicing social distancing and all that good stuff?
Oh, well, practicing social distancing, I'm used to it. This is my life, so
okay.
It comes naturally, basically.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, Q tells me that you a fan of the show.
I am. I like the show. It's very interesting. I love your topics, and I just wanted to, make a comment on Andre Harrell. You're absolutely right. I think he should have been recognized a little bit more for his tribute to hip hop. Because if hip hop was a body, then Andre Harrell would be a rib.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
If it wasn't for him, yes, there wouldn't be a Puff Daddy, and then from that chain, there wouldn't be a Mary J. Blige, there wouldn't be a Total, there wouldn't be a Biggie, and so forth, so on. So
exactly.
I totally agree with you.
That's an important statement, Denisha. Because Q, think about this: if you take the P Diddy branch away from hip hop, just think of everything you're gonna lose. Take the Diddy branch out of the hip hop tree, and you will. Oh my God, you will lose almost. I'm gonna say at least a third of our hip hop history. I mean, we talking Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, man. Father MC, come on. Father MC don't get credit, man. Man, Father MC was the bomb, man. Come on, man. Father MC like came and went, but when he popped, he was popping. Heavy D and the Boys, man. And then off of Heavy D's tree, you got DJ Eddie F, who went on to produce, like No More Shopping Sprees. What's the name of the group? Ruffians. We interviewed him on the show about a month ago, and oh man, and Eddie F is responsible also for the group Next. Jaheim, come on, man. Oh, you would take a big branch if you took Andre Harrell's branch off the hip hop tree. We would lose at least a third of our hip hop history. What do you say, Q?
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. Like I said, one hand reaches another. Like I was saying, I'm a hip hop nerd, so I go back and see how this was connected to that and who influenced who. And I used to tell you, Trav, I used to always get the records, and I used to always go in the back of the records as the music was playing. I would get my favorite album down, when we had albums back then, and I used to go and read the credits, to who produced what, who had this influence. So, just hearing these stories now, I'm sort of like already in the knowing, but just to know that these guys played so much of a critical role in hip hop and everything. And I would like to ask Denisha, what do you think about the female aspect of hip hop and how Andre played a part in that? What is your thoughts on that?
I'm not too familiar with the female aspect of it. I'm not sure if MC Light is under his wing or anything like that, but he
Mary J. Blige was a big part. That was his. Mary J. was his pet project. He saw her, and he, you know, in his own words, if you go back and look at his documentary, he said, "You're going to be huge." He said that to her. Yeah.
He discovered her at a mall. Actually, she was doing karaoke. Mhm.
Yeah, that was dope, man. I'm a big Mary J. Blige fan, and I couldn't have made it through the '90s without Mary, man. That was my that was the 411. That was my song, man. Oh, I used to bump that. I remember I bought that. It was a bootleg cassette. It was this Middle Eastern carryout, and I couldn't afford the actual CD, and this Middle Eastern carryout. I don't know who done it, but some guy, you know, he bootlegged the cassette tape, and you can tell that it was bootleg because it looked like somebody just took a picture, took like a Polaroid of the actual tape cassette cover and just stuffed it back in there. But they was like $2, man, and I bought it, and I was bumping that bootleg, man. I remember that, man. I was bumping that bootleg.
You know, albums like that, the What's the 411, and you know, obviously I'll Be Sure, Night and Day. All those albums, you could go back and be like, man, I remember when that album first dropped.
Christopher Williams.
Yeah, Christopher Williams. The whole New Jack Swing. I mean, Riley, all the people that Andre Harrell, you know, influenced and touched, and it was just crazy. That's why, listening to somebody that knows about that time period is phenomenal, man. I mean, look, Andre wasn't. I don't know if you know this, Trav, but I was listening to Sheila E. and Sheila E. was saying Andre Harrell was the one who asked her to be in Crush Groove.
Oh yeah, that's.
He wanted some diversity. He didn't want just all. He wanted somebody that was from a different world to bring them in. He saw the success of Purple Rain and said, you know what, I want to bring that into this world and marry the two. And what was interesting about the behind the scenes on that, majority of the people, according to her, she said they was resistant to her being on the set. They said they didn't really like, you know, her dynamic coming over to the set because they wanted to keep it all hip hop. They didn't see the vision in that. You know what I mean? So what's crazy about that is just now you go back and see that he was such a visionary and how he was able to see something that most people don't see, just like me and you. You know, on the Big Trav and Q show, how we see things that most people don't see. You know how
exactly.
how we do that? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now Jodeci. Let's talk about Jodeci, man. And let's talk about Jodeci and their impact, man. We first seen them on Father MC's cuts. You know, they was on two of Father MC just had those 3 songs, and Jodeci was on 2 of them, man. Treat them like they want to be treated, and One Night Stand, I believe, was the other one. And Jodeci was such a big impact too, man. I remember when Jodeci came on the scene. I was in college. That was like when Jodeci came out. That was like 91-ish, 2-ish, because I remember bumping that CD in my Thunderbird. Nah, I take that back. It was more like 93, 94, around in there somewhere. And I remember bumping that in my Thunderbird, man. And my song was Fiendin'.
Wow.
Oh, Fiendin'. That was my song, man. When I grabbed me a little shorty, I made sure that was playing when they got in the car. Denisha, was you a Jodeci fan?
She said her phone died. She's gonna call back.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna assume if she down with Andre Harrell, I'm pretty sure she was a Jodeci fan. So, but yeah, man, I was Jodeci was my shit too, man. I mean, so let me, and I say that to say this. You know, we talking about Andre Harrell and his impact on hip hop and how we don't think they really, you know, but you know what? Maybe they got something in the works. Maybe they got something planned. You know, I think with everything being on court, I just thought that I'm gonna say the other entertainment shows or non-black entertainment shows, they didn't like Entertainment Tonight, they didn't even bring him up when they brought up, because all that happened over the weekend. So we lost Andre Harrell, Little Richard, Betty Wright, and Jerry Stiller all in the same weekend. And they mentioned everybody but Andre Harrell. Maybe somebody at the show got a problem with him, but for some reason they didn't bring him up, and I was surprised. But even with in our community, in the hip hop community, I just didn't think I don't know. I just didn't think they didn't show him enough love. But we showing it today. Damn it, Andre Harrell. You take his branch out of the hip hop tree, and you taking at least 1/3. If anybody watching or listening would like to add, want to add their 2 cents on Andre Harrell, feel free to call in, and we would love to hear what you think. Whether you think he had a big impact or not. I seem to think he did. He gets credit for discovering Diddy, but he also gets credit for firing Diddy too. He does. That's what he's known for. He's actually more known, or I'm gonna say equally. I'm not gonna say more known, but he's equally as known for the guy that fired Diddy. A billionaire. Diddy went on to Diddy's a billionaire basically, and so when you hear somebody like the dude that cut Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan got cut from the varsity his junior year. Right. So you wonder, and you want to smack that dude, don't you? You know what I'm saying? you be like, what the hell was that dude thinking about? But it just
What's so funny about is when you look back at the documentary and the first few episodes, they was talking about the people who missed out on the boat on signing Jordan to, it was like Adidas and what was the other one? I said, but it was another one. But what's so funny about that, Trav, is the fact that think about those who turned that deal down or who didn't make that deal with Jordan.
You know what? When people do stuff like, what I call it? I call it the Bill Duke. I call it the Bill Duke. I call it the Bill Duke because when I hear they done something like that, I be like, you done fucked up, right? That's called the Bill Duke. You done fucked up, right?
I wonder did they get fired? That's what I want. I wonder. I would love to hear.
Where the hell is Sam Bowie at to this day? That was the dude they took instead of Jordan. Where the hell Sam Bowie ass at?
I would love to hear from the people who sat in that room and tried to make that deal with Jordan and didn't, and it didn't finalize. I would love to hear their thoughts today based on the fact that they missed the Jordan.
But you know what?
That wasn't his first. That's not who he wanted to go with it.
But you know what? But the documentary for me, it did explain it. It did explain. I never thought about or wondered why he picked Nike or why, I just sort of assumed that, that everybody pitched him and he liked Nike better. But as it turned out, when we seen in the documentary, that wasn't the case. The case was that he liked Adidas and he wanted to go with Adidas. He didn't even want to take a meeting with Nike. He didn't even, his mom made him go. His mom made him go. And it was just a situation.
You better go for that meeting.
Right. Yeah. His mom was like, we'll go to that meeting because they was offered him, Adidas, they had already had Magic and they had Bird. So they was like, we already got the two top dudes.
Magic was with Converse. He was with Converse.
Oh yeah, that's right. They was with Converse. That was with, well. I'm sorry.
Him. They had a deal with him, Isaiah, and Larry Bird. They all was with Converse.
Right. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. I meant to say that Converse didn't even want to mess with him because they had already had Larry and Magic, and then Adidas. They had like tennis stars. They wasn't even known for basketball shoes. Like Arthur Ashe was like one of their big dudes at the time. They didn't even have a basketball shoe. And so, but they offered Michael Jordan. They Nike wasn't even a big shoe company back then. They was just starting up. Arthur Ashe was they biggest name, and so they offered him $200,000, and that was bigger than that was probably the most money he got in his damn rookie year. And his mama said, "Boy, you better take that." And so, but Nike was willing to give him everything they wanted, and Adidas, who he wanted to be with, they wasn't ready to make him the star. They wasn't ready to give him a shoe. Oh my God, I know they regret. But you know what? But Adidas rebounded because now they got the Yeezys, so they rebounded. So because I don't know if you heard the latest, but the Yeezys is on Jordan's ass. Did you hear that? Did you get that information yet?
You still got a long way to go.
No, recheck your information. My latest research, the Yeezys is on the Jordan brand ass. They right behind them. Man. And
in total sales.
In total sales, man. The Yeezys is right. They on their ass, man. They on their ass. I mean, we talking. They right there, man. And so that was, I was looking into when it was officially announced that Kanye became a billionaire. All the numbers started to came out. All of the numbers started to come out. And so as I was reading those articles, that was what I read. They read that that the Yeezys is on Jordan's ass, man. He doing that well. And he didn't jump Jay-Z now. Oh, he worth $3 billion now. So, oh my God.
But Jay-Z rocking with Pumas though. I mean, Pumas was so 85-ish.
Well, their net worth total ain't got nothing to do with well, Jay-Z's don't have nothing to do with Pumas. He's making this money on Tidal and Ace of Spades and
but he had a deal with Puma.
Yeah. I mean, but Puma ain't selling no shoes. They ain't doing nothing. Who else was with Puma?
They do sell shoes.
Yeah, man. But not like Nike and Adidas though. Not like Nike.
No, I agree with you. I was saying the same thing, but I just wasn't being as insulting as you were. I was saying to you that Pumas was the king back then in the 80s from 84.
Oh yeah.
So that was when you saw everybody rocking Pumas with the fat strings and Fat Boy. I mean, when I'm seeing LL with the Pumas on back then, I was like, yo,
I know.
I'm done.
Listen,
I'm done.
Listen, I had an all black pair with a red Puma stripe on it. They was dope, and they was velvet too.
Were they comfortable too?
Yeah, no, I'm not velvet. I mean, they were suede. Oh, they was dope. They was dope.
What is this?
And then it had Adidas, the word Adidas in gold. Oh, they was so dope. Woo! They was so dope, man. Oh yeah,
dope, man.
I wore them bitches out. I wore them.
Pumas was the shoe. That's what. See, I was having a conversation with one of my partners, and he was trying to make the argument that Jordans was the shoes of all. I was like, no, they wasn't, man. I said, you got to realize Nikes had to take their turn because people wasn't rocking Nikes like that in the 80s. They was rocking Converses, they was rocking Pumas, they was rocking Bally's, they was even rocking the Ewings. You remember the Ewings?
Yeah, the Ewings. I remember, but I didn't start liking the Jordans until they came out with the threes.
Okay.
Because I didn't
what year was that?
That was I can't tell you the year, but that was the threes that was the year that he hooked up with Spike Lee and he done the commercials. Those were the threes.
So what happened was, in my recollection, in the time period that I was in, people wasn't rocking them until they saw him with Spike Lee, to your point, when doing the Butt concert, when the Doing the Butt video came out.
Right.
And you saw the
Everybody
blue, white, and with the Jordans, when they had them on there,
right.
I was like, yo, those was dope.
That's when I first started paying attention, is when the threes came out. Because I didn't like the ones, because I remember Payless was selling some shoes called Flights. And the Jordan ones, the Jordan ones look like Flights. And I was like, man, they looked generic. So I was like, man, I ain't messing with no Flights, man. And so, and flights, they had a generic version of the ones too, man. So I was just like, they all looked the same to me, so I couldn't rock with the ones, man. But I rock with them now.
Plus, man, when Run DMC came out with my Adidas, you know how huge that was, Trav?
Oh yeah, that was
You
dope.
know how huge it was back then, man? I wish people could understand the magnitude. You remember the My Adidas sweaters that DMC and them had? They was rocking
So hard. I wanted one so bad.
Oh my gosh!
I couldn't even afford it.
My
man.
gosh, it was. I mean, it was like epic, man. You looking those back then? What other styles do you remember back then, man?
Well, like you said, like the Ewings. I remember the Ewings.
Yep.
And then, I remember.
And then Dougie Fresh when he had the Bally's.
Yeah, but those was even back then. No, wasn't nobody rocking Bally. I seen.
Yes,
hold on. I didn't finish. Can I finish my statement? I seen a couple. Like I remember, the big dope boy in our neighborhood. It was a couple of them, and them was the dudes that had Bally's on. Didn't the regular dudes like me and who I ran with? The Bally's was expensive even then. They was
okay.
Expensive.
That's fair. That's fair to
so
say.
So wasn't nobody. We wasn't rocking. Then they wasn't like sweet either. They wasn't like sweet like Adidas was and Pumas. And so, but no, I remember.
Matter of opinion.
I remember when the Nike Vandals came out. The Nike Vandals. Remember the Nike Vandals?
Yeah.
They looked like a high top Air Force Ones with a strap around the top. I remember Jim Jackson. We was at DeVoe, and our school colors was blue and gold. And Jim Jackson, if you guys don't, you've been living under a rock. But you know what? I forgot, man. I got friends all across the country. Jim Jackson, he was like probably the best basketball player to ever come out of my city. And he went on to, we won the state championship my junior year in '89. He went on to Ohio State. He's one of the career scorers at Ohio State. He was the he got drafted that draft with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille went first. Kenny Anderson went second. And I think Jim went third or fourth. Jim went third or fourth to the Dallas Mavericks. And he went on to have a pretty good career. And now he's a broadcaster for the Big Ten Network. And I believe it's CBS. Yes, I believe it's CBS. But anyway, I remember I was in 7th grade. He was in 8th grade, man. And he broke out the blue and gold Vandals. It was all navy with a gold swoosh. It was dope. With a gold strap. Oh, man, I wanted a pair of those so bad, man. But Mom Dukes couldn't even do it. But, yeah.
Do you remember Lottos?
Yeah, I remember Lottos. Lottos was a shoe. If you guys, every city got a discount store. And then... And
he's about to do it.
Yeah, because the Lottos ended up at the
defecation is coming.
Yeah, it's coming. Because Lottos, didn't nobody rock no damn Lottos, man. Lottos ended up, I don't know where you live at, man, but every city got like a discount store like Burlington or Value City. So, no, TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx is a discount store. So yeah, you could, didn't nobody buy them, and they would end up at like a Value City. Like me in my neighborhood, Lottos was like, they were reduced to like buddies, man. And I don't know when we was growing up, we called generic shoes buddies. I don't know what they called them where you guys. Right. We're gonna have to do a show on that. We're gonna have to do a segment on that. What did they call the generic shoes when you was growing up in your area? We called them buddies.
Right.
Like when we would crack, we would like with your buddies on. We called them did y'all call them buddies in Detroit?
Nah, we didn't say buddies.
What did y'all say in Detroit? What did y'all call them?
We used to clown because you had people that used to, they had these shoes. You remember Trax shoes?
Yeah.
So people used to they looked so similar to Adidas shoes.
Right.
But they had the extra stripes.
But them bitches had like 10 stripes on them. I used to like them niggas with your 10 stripe having ass.
Yeah. So people used to try to play it off, man, and have a fresh gear on and have some tracks on, and man, it was terrible for you, man. In the club, man, it was terrible for you.
Yeah, that would be a horrible name check. Your name check, a name check is when you do top, bottom, and shoes. So his name check would go Adidas, and Buddies or Tracks.
Well, back then, man, you had to be uniform. It wasn't no mixing up back then.
No,
it was
but you know
one or the other.
But if you shopped at Burlington, you know, and everybody noticed, if you shopped at Burlington and Value City, and I did, you know, they never had the same thing to match. That's why it was a discount store, because they would send, you know, an Adidas top, they would send a Nike pant, you know, they would send like some Puma socks, and individually all of them was fresh, but you couldn't resist the temptation of throwing all them shits together. So
right.
And I was one of them, man. I got.
What about Troops?
No, yeah, we rocked the Troop. We couldn't afford the Troop either. It was, like I said, only the dope boys in my neighborhood rocked the Troop, man. The Troop was dope. And then
when LL did the commercial to him, it went through the roof.
Yeah, Troop.
Till they found out the Klans was funding them. That was it.
Troop.
Some motherfuckers sink.
Yeah. Yeah, Troop was on the level with MCM lightweight, man. I mean, you know, MCM and that was like huge, and then Troop, you know, that's what everybody was rocking. I'm gonna say like
the whole outfit. You remember you could get the whole outfit, the Troop outfit.
Yeah.
Man, I remember going to the store and buying some, and you had LL on the box cover. Oh, that was so sweet, man.
Oh, you had dope.
With the whole Troop on.
You had dope. Man. You had dope. I've never owned anything Troop, man. Never owned anything Troop.
Never
owned anything Troop, man.
That's when LL was rocking that, and then when the group Troop came out, it was like, oh man, it was solidified then, man. Troop was damn near on the par of Nike back then, man.
Yeah, that was
until they got out about the Klan was funding them shoes.
Oh yeah. And then,
Cass was like, I'm out of these. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was only. Listen, man. If you had back in my neighborhood, if you had Troop, dog, you had all the girls, man. That's all you had to do was bust a Troop jacket.
Yep.
And then came the Pelly. When
yes.
The Pelly was more like late 90s, 2000s, man. But Pelly still go hard. Yeah, shout out to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I still want a Pelly.
But don't forget about triple fat gooses, man.
Oh yeah. No, I never. I was. I never.
You never had one?
No, never had them, man. They was just too expensive, man. That was too expensive.
Man, them triple fat gooses used to go hard.
Oh
man.
yeah, they did.
And if you had a triple fat goose back then.
Oh yeah.
Man,
that was dope.
Woo!
Man. Oh yeah.
You know you was going home with some shorties that night.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. I knew that, man. I
just remember. I mean, our gear was so fresh back then. I don't know about today. I guess they do their thing today, but it was like in our time period, it was like you used to get the whole week up for the weekend. It was like, yo, because I know at the party everybody's gonna be there. And you didn't want to look crazy at all. It was like, you remember that? Everybody checking each other. Yo, you good? You good, fam? Boom, boom, boom. And it was like a fashion show, man. Everybody stepping out like, boom, boom, boom. Yo, what's up, nigga? What you know about these?
You know what? Thank God in my neighborhood, it was only like, let me give an example. Like I said, we was going to the club when I was like, I remember going to the club when I was like in fifth, sixth grade, man, going to a club. Well, I don't know so much fifth grade, but definitely sixth grade. I remember going to this joint over on Dorr Street, which is like our main city going through Toledo here. And I remember, I think it was called Mr. J's or Michael J's or something like that. And Keith Success, who at the time was like our biggest DJ at the time. And we used to go and it would only, like I said, if the club is packed, it would only be like one or two dudes with Troop on, you know, with with triple fat gooses on. So, you know, I didn't feel, I never felt bad about not having it. You know, I wouldn't like, so in other words, it would be like the dude with the troop on, he would have maybe 3 or 4, but then the rest of the chicks, you know, we had, it was fair game for the rest of us. So, so I guess what I'm saying is I wasn't the only one that couldn't afford none of that stuff. It was only like 1 or 2 dudes that would walk up in the joint with that stuff on. And I remember one guy, I remember he wasn't a dope boy, but his mom had a good job. So, he just had the latest everything, man. His mom just kept him laced, man. And so,
what about the task force jacket?
Nah. Toledo didn't get into the task force. We didn't get into tasks. Task
Force was hard, man.
No, task was cool, but wasn't nobody in Toledo busting it like that. No, we was.
Man, Task Force was hard in Detroit, man.
Yeah, no, we didn't get into it like that. Task Force was
hard. Them leather jackets, man, with the different colors on them and stuff. Man,
matter of fact, I only saw Task Force on TV, man. I never seen nobody in person in a Task Force. I only seen it on TV.
Boys. See, the whole thing of it was back then it was about diversity. It wasn't. I ain't trying to look like you. You ain't trying to look like me. And everybody was about. I guess if you want to be honest, I'm gonna show you up, or I'm fresh. You know, I'm gonna rock this or whatever. It was like, ooh, this is sweet. I'm gonna put this on and I'm gonna stand out. You know, that type of stuff. Not the stand out like you would see today, like wearing a dress on type stuff. But I'm saying
but you know what things are. You know what? Thank God, everything is affordable. And you know what? There's the secondhand market is huge and everything, man. It's hip. It's okay to wear secondhand stuff nowadays. Like, man, listen, it's cool to have a refurbished Apple phone. It is. It's cool. It is. It's cool to have what's that? Supreme. Oh my God, right. Supreme. Can't nobody afford original Supreme. The secondhand market for Supreme is ridiculous, man. And the same way on the Jordans, man. I don't know about in any other city, but the bootleg market for Jordans in Toledo is ridiculous, man. And these cats be running around here trying to pass off these Jordans as real Jordans, man. And no, man, they quit it. They need to quit it. But anyway, but the secondhand market on everything is huge, man. The secondhand market is huge. So or
back in our town, I don't know how they was in Toledo, but in Detroit, whenever they walked up and they said, "Hey man, check them shoes in, pimp," it was a wrap.
Yeah, wouldn't that
hey,
be?
Man, check them in, man.
That'll really be jacked up to jack somebody for some Jordans and them bitches fake.
Ooh man, that start out like, ooh man, them is sweet, man. Yo man, them dope, man. Hey man, let me holler at you, and you'll be like, you'll have your friend be like, man, don't go back there, man. I'm telling you, they gonna, no, I'm straight, man. Yeah, man, they butter you up and then be like, hey man, check them shoes in, man.
Damn, they done that in Detroit. Now they didn't do that. I mean, I wasn't aware of it happening in Toledo. I'm not aware of a situation in Toledo ever where somebody took some shoes from somebody. So
man,
there's
plenty of cats in the
and I grew up in
cemeteries over
I grew up
man.
in one of the worst. But Toledo really never was bad. Toledo never really like had like a bad area. I mean, we never had an area that was so bad where our parents was like, you know, you don't go over there, don't be over there. I remember we had a project called the Brand Woodlocks, and
right.
You know, it used to get a bad rap, you know, but you know, it was never told to me to stay out of there. To me, that's where the fine women lived at. So I mean, you could hear a dude saying, "Oh man, what did you do last night? I was over this girl house in the Brand last night." You know, so yeah, so no, we never really had an area that you had to stay out of, man. You know, Brand Woodlock's got a bad rap, but I was over there all of the time, and I never
think if you was minding your business, you know, trouble didn't really follow you like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you did have unfortunate situations where it didn't matter if you was cool or not. You know, some cats just wanted to do what they do. But for the most if you was just about handling your business, I'm just all about chicks. I ain't trying to be the roughest and toughest. You was pretty much okay. You had your victim of circumstances. We all had those, no matter where you were at.
I do know that East Side Detroit always been bad. Yeah, East Side Detroit. East Side Detroit. I remember when, like I told you, I used to work at the Family Dollar on Mack and Alter, man, and I worked in Southgate. I worked in Romulus, and so. Yeah, so and I just heard the stories from everybody that I worked with up there that, don't be there. Like, but you know what, when I was younger and when we went out in Detroit, it was always downtown. We didn't go to those little hole in the wall bars. It was, what was the name of the bar that Mojo used to broadcast from, back in the day?
Nectarine? The Nectarine?
No, wasn't the Nectarine. Name another one. If you name it, I'll remember it because they used to broadcast. But we used to go to
the close was the Dancery. It was the Nectarine. It was Maxie's.
I remember Maxie's. I hit
the other
Maxie's.
one downtown. The Underground. The other ground. Man, the other one that was downtown Detroit.
No,
I know what you're talking about but that's where all the celebrities.
Yeah, I remember that was the one he used to broadcast for. I forget the name of it, but I remember going to that one. I remember going to that one when I was probably about maybe 18,
that's why
19.
I met Tony Braxton at when she was there. But anyway, man, Trav, what's crazy about the subject matter, we doing our mini Rippleton right now, going down memory lane.
Right.
And just talking about a lot of that stuff, man. It was just, fashion compared to, with the Maurice Malone. Maurice Malone was still fly back then too, man.
Who the hell is that? Maurice Malone. Who the hell is that?
I guess that's a Detroit thing.
Yeah, I believe that is.
Detroit thing. Because Maurice Malone, I mean, I guarantee you, if T. Douglas was on the phone, he'd be like, you know about Maurice Malone? Man, but that was gear. But that was the gear that was like, it was up there. Maurice Malone, FUBU, all of them. They was all, and he was from Detroit.
Well, that's probably why. That's probably why I didn't know he wasn't.
But Maurice Malone was dope, man. If you ever get a chance, man, Google Maurice Malone. He was, his gear. He used to be the one that would be backstage and would see the artist and be like, "Yo, I got this gear, blah blah blah." He just take it from me, hold it up, take a picture, boom boom boom, and he started getting live.
That's what's up. That's our FUBU. That's what FUBU done to LL. LL. Yeah.
I mean, they all took a page out of the same book. They all doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So, but it was just live like that, man. I mean, the music was hot back then, man. The gear, the clothes. I mean, Trav, man, the '80s was on point. Man.
You know what I want to ask you about since you're from the Detroit area. What?
No, I didn't rock Jerry curls.
No, I wasn't gonna ask that. Man. How did you guys receive MC Breed? How did Detroit receive MC Breed?
Great question.
Because we rocked with
him.
We rocked with him.
I had never seen the mom and pop stores, WJLB, all the radio stations, TV 62. I had never seen them get behind a local act like they did MC Breed. It was like they had a meeting and said, we're going to go and we're going to pour all our economic power behind him. He was so well received, man. I mean, there was, man, and Future in Your Frontin' was so huge. And then WJLB, they used to have Family Fun Day, and all the top tiers. But he was like the top tier local act. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then what we remember on 62, and it was like the time periods where everybody be like, "Yo, turn the channel on, man. Breed on TV."
Right.
I don't think they don't do that stuff. And we remember watching an interview, and they had the Ghetto Boys with Breed, and we was like, "Ooh, he with the Ghetto Boys."
Right.
It was like back then. It was like if they seen you next to a mainstream artist a wrap, man. It was like, oh, he solidified, you know. And it was like, so to answer your question in short, he was well received.
Yeah,
Detroit.
that's what I wonder.
Well received
because it was. I guess it's either one or two things. Way to receive him is that, okay, he's from Flint. What is Flint? Flint about an hour from Detroit. Okay, so you know, with him being an hour,
45, about 45.
Yeah, you know, I thought maybe you know they could either hate because he wasn't exactly from Detroit, or
man, it was
love.
And then in '93, when I Gotta Get Mine with him and Tupac,
right?
Oh man, it was like
that was dope.
It was like Ain't No Future on Your Frontin', but then when he did Gotta Get Mine, it was like, yo. I don't know. I guess you'll probably tell me that Ain't No Future on Your Front was bigger than Gotta Get Mine.
I gotta get yours. I gotta get mine. I'm playing it. I gotta get mine. I gotta get yours. I gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. I gotta get mine.
Yeah. When he did it,
yeah.
It was rocking.
Yeah, that was my song. Now Toledo, same way. We felt the same way you guys felt. Even though Flint was maybe 2.5 hours from Toledo, we was still like, you know, he from our area. We still felt like he was from around our way.
Right.
So we was just as excited. We was like, hey, listen, somebody from around the way is rocking, man. We was like, we was. I remember we had at the time we had a club called the Ottawa Tavern on right off the corner of Bancroft and Upton, which was my neighborhood, and I remember the lady that owned it. What she used to do, I remember I was standing in line to go in, and she used to come out, and she used to pull all the ladies out of the line, you know, and lead the dudes. And she said, "No, we need some more ladies in here, man. There's too many dudes in here." So I remember she came out and she pulled all the ladies out of the line to go in the club. And then I hear a voice behind me go, ain't that some shit? She just let the girls in, you know. And I turned around, and it was MC Breed and his crew. And then and some dude with his crew was like, well, listen, you know, hey, you know, listen, we can walk right up to the door. I heard some dude say that. And then they walked right up to the door. And then the lady that owned the bar, she didn't know who MC Breed was, so they had to go in and get the DJ and get some more people and come out and tell her who he was, and then they let him in. So
was this in Toledo?
Yeah, this was in Toledo. I remember that because the lady, she didn't you know, she was older, and so, you know, she didn't look like the type that would, you know, that was, you know, that checked on the hip hop scene. You know what I'm saying? So. But she didn't know what he looked like, and so they came out and told her, and then they let him in. I remember that's my MC Breed moment.
Did you ever meet him?
No, never met him. I mean, I was a nobody then, man. That was I was.
Well, that don't mean that you never met a celebrity back then.
No, but that was just my, you know, he was in Toledo a lot. I mean, I'm gonna say during his career he would hit Toledo at least once a year. You know, I'm gonna say he had.
Where did he used to perform at?
Hold on, let me remember where he performed at. Hold on, let me remember. I'm having trouble. If anybody listening or anybody watching, if you remember where MC Breed performed at, call in, text us, comment in the post. I forget. I really forget because I really wasn't like up on stuff like that back then, man. Like when because if I couldn't afford to go, I didn't care, you know. But I remember the radio station saying like I remember he was at the stations. I remember hearing him on the radio at the stations saying where he was gonna perform. Or I remember one time. Oh, I do remember. We had a place called the pop and mom and pop store was Sunshine Sweatshop. It was on the corner of Auburn and Monroe, and I remember he was signing autographs up there one time, and that was like on the edge of my neighborhood. It was like on the edge of my neighborhood, so it was in walking distance from my house, and then it was people coming back to the neighborhood talking about how long the line was, so I didn't even go up there, man. So I was, you know, I wouldn't know. And I just wasn't on that. I just kept doing what I was doing, you know. But let me say this back then, man. I never, becoming a DJ, that wasn't even on my radar. You know what's interesting is that before I became a DJ, before I officially became a DJ, a year before, I wasn't even thinking about it. Becoming a DJ it just happened, man. I mean, it happened so fast. I mean, that wasn't my plan. I never, my evolution as a DJ, my beginnings went like this. You know how somebody go, a lot of the DJs or a lot of people that become DJs, they come up with a plan. They go, I want to start DJing. And then they research it and they gradually get into it. That didn't happen to me. Somebody asked me to DJ a party. I wasn't even a DJ. I wasn't even a DJ, man. Somebody asked me, my cousin asked me, she said, Travis, she said, I don't want to hire a DJ. She said, can you come to my anniversary party, and just play some music? So she just asked me to DJ her anniversary party. She figured it wasn't hard. I was her cousin and she wasn't going to have to pay me. And so at the time I had 2 house stereo speakers, and I had a DVD player, and I had a receiver, and that was how I DJ'd my first party. I had 2 stereo speakers, I had a DVD player, and a receiver. That's what I took. And I remember I knew I needed a microphone, so I ran to the pawn shop and I grabbed a Radio Shack mixer, man. That mixer had to be about damn 20, 30 years old. But I knew I had to plug the receiver into it and plug a microphone into that. And so I grabbed me a mic, it wasn't a Radio Shack mixer. It was a realistic. I think it was called Realistic. And then from that party, people just kept asking me. So I became a DJ just because people kept asking me to do it. And then I remember, I'll never forget this. This girl named Nisi. Shout out to Nisi. Nisi asked me to DJ her party, and it was in the hood. It was like over by Early Bird Carryout, and she owned a property at the time. She owned a property, and it was like a little modular home. It was just in the hood. It was on the corner. It was painted purple. They called it the Purple House or whatever. It was painted all purple. And so I charged her $50 to DJ this party. And so I'm DJing this party, and J Rock comes in. J Rock comes in, and he comes up and he said, he didn't know me at the time, but I knew him because he was on the radio. He comes in at the time and he was like, he said, hey, I'm J Rock. He said, I just want to see, he said, I'm a DJ. I just want to see what you was rocking with. And he came over, and I felt bad because my equipment was janky as hell. And so, but I didn't think that I would ever, at the time, Jay was popping at that time. And so he was doing, he was popping at that time, man. And Jay, if you listening, hey man, you still popping, dog. He's still popping. He said
popping at the time.
Yeah. No, but he really was. He was popping back then. He was popping, and I recognized him as popping. And so when he came through and he checked out my equipment, I was embarrassed because it was just some bullshit. And then to make it even worse, remember the dude Jim Jackson that I just told you about that was in the NBA and all of that? By this time, he was in the NBA at the time. Then he come to the party. Now, me and him grew up together, so I knew him. So he came through, and he was like, man, Trav, you DJing now? I was like, yeah, He was like, and so he pulled me to the side, and he was like, man, Trav, because we was, like I said, we from the same hood. So he kept it real. He was like, Trav, man, you gotta get some better equipment, dog. And so when Jim said it, and I did, I just felt bad when Jay seen it. I felt bad, and then so that was when the light went off. That was when I decided to start taking seriously, But it was more what Jim said because he was from my neighborhood, and he was like, man, if you're going to be doing this, man, you got to get some better equipment, man. And I did, man. Right away, the next day I went out to Guitar Center, and do you know Rob Sample? DJ Rob Sample? White dude?
No.
Well, he's pretty popular in our area, man. Rob helped a lot of DJs get started. At the time, Rob Sample, he's the DJ at the Hollywood Casino right now. And at the time, Rob Sample worked at Guitar Center, and he turned me on to everything. He told me everything to get. I told him I was on a budget. Like, he was recommending, because he worked there, he was recommending all his high-end stuff. But I told him, I said, man, I'm just starting out. I'm a beginner. And he kept it real with me. He was like, listen, start with this. He said, you'll be cool with this. And he set me up with some pop-up players. And if you're a DJ, you know what the pop-up players are. It was the CD players where you pressed a button, and on the top of it, the door opened on the top of it, and then you put the CD in, and then you had to push it back down, which was some bullshit. As opposed to the soft entry, like in your car. Remember the soft entry in your car where you put the CD in and then it would just suck it in? Those didn't come till later. But, I started out with the pop-up CD players. I got the mixer. I remember, he turned me on to an amplifier, and my first set of speakers was an amplifier and then some unpowered speakers. And then I remember when the powered speakers came out, man, anyway, it was just the beginning, man. But anyway, that was my beginning of my hip hop journey. So anyway, all right, let's get back into the show, man. We always get sidetracked. You still there, right?
Yeah, man. You just be telling some fantastic, stories, man. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Oh, okay, all right. You know what? I just told a story. You tell a story. How did you get into promoting music? Tell that story. I don't think I've been knowing you for a minute, and I don't know your beginnings in promoting.
Okay, well, it's kind of ironic because when we had Rodney on last week, I was going to get into that, but just a snippet of it. Basically, Rodney was the one that kind of encouraged me indirectly. He was like, I was riding. Well, it goes back to the beginning. I used to be with this label at the time. It was called Cracking Sounds, and it was like really huge in Detroit. So at the time, I used to be a rapper. Yes, Trav, I used to bust flows back then. But the owner at the time had like 3 or 4 different albums that was getting ready to be released. So he was saying to me, he said, look, man, I know I've got a contract with you guys, because I was in a group at the time. And he was like, hey, I tell you what. He said, how about you spend this time learning the business outside of because he said, you never know. You could be a Ron O'Neal, Ron O'Neal, Ron from the Andy Griffin Show.
Right.
And it was like, okay, what that got to do? He was like, no. He was that one day you may want to basically be behind the scenes. So he was like, well, just follow me, man, and just go and check out stuff. So he was teaching me the ins and outs. And so he would basically send me on internships and, and like I would go and learn the business, go behind the scenes. And so I started out basically doing street promotions and stuff like that. I was the guy that would go to the stores and I would just put all the posters up. I would make sure the sections were set up. And then what I would do is report numbers back to the major labels on who was selling what product in the stores every week compared to a local artist or whatever. So, and then I was, then it went from that where I would basically go and pick the artists up from the airport. I was a glorified, basically, runner. I would take them to the airport, take them to the radio stations, take them to their shows, make sure that they did their sound checks and all that stuff. So My first one was when I was with TLC. I was with TLC, and I was hella nervous too, Trav, because it was like, man, it was like, man, and then it was like they wasn't really like, they wasn't big like they are, like they were in the '90s. Same thing with Usher. I worked with all of these guys in the beginning stages, and
so you was working for a record company or the radio station?
Capitol Records. I was working with I was a hired gun, so I would basically be hired out from the major labels. See, it was all set up differently back then because the labels back then didn't have. They needed a person in that particular market that they could basically have as a point of contact,
like they do with Rodney right now.
Right. So Rodney was actually helped me get into that position, and he introduced me to this guy named Sean P, who was running. Sean P was running TV shows. He was running all over. He had a show on 62 and all this other stuff. So he was like, "Yo, you should." And I was like young. I was like young and hungry, and I just wanted to do it. And I just wanted to, learn. And so I was able to get behind him. And Rodney was the one that introduced me to that, man. And I'm always going to be thankful for what he did, because he just put me in a room. I had to do the work, but he just introduced me. He was like, "Yo, this is Sean P. You might want." He'd be like, "Yo, Q, this is Sean P. He does such and such. You might want to get with him." And Sean just, he put me out there and did my very first show that I did out.
You know what's crazy about that story is that's what you do to me. Let me tell y'all, Q. Every time we had a concert or we had a show, he always introduced me to somebody, and he'll say, "I just thought y'all should meet, because this is if you're trying to do this, and this is somebody." I remember you introduced me to DJ Steady Rock. DJ Steady Rock is the DJ. He is the DJ at Shane Park, which is ain't it called Aretha Franklin now? It's called Aretha.
Yeah.
Okay, and which is my boy. I mean, man, we communicate on Instagram all of the time, man. So I remember when you introduced me to him, and you told me that you was like, "Hey, this is somebody that you need to know because he do the shows there." And I remember I waved him off at the time, like I always do.
Oh yeah,
I was
notorious for that.
I didn't know who he was, so I was like, whatever. I was like, well, yeah, whatever. I shook his hand and he was like, "What's up?" But the people that you think can help you, you kind of file that away. You file that and keep that with you. And the people that you don't know or don't think can help you, you just be like, whatever. And so I whatevered him. And so, but what's crazy is that I just didn't, you had told me he was the DJ at Shane Park, but I didn't put it together at the time. So then what happened was I posted I'm a video DJ, and so, and I pride myself in my video setup. So I had posted my video set up to Instagram one time, and he come on my post like that's dope, and he started asking me questions about it, and I was telling him, this and this, and he said that he was trying to expand his game into the video. So he went out and got him a video set up, and he came back and was like, Trav, look what I got. What you think? And he was like, "What you think?" And me and him, we developed a relationship like that, man. So, and then when I done Spice 1, he was like, "What?" He was like, he said, "Well, I ain't get that call." So then we hooked up again. So when he seen me do the Spice 1 gig, he was like, "Oh, damn, people fuck with you." So that's how he came at me. Yeah, he was like, "Damn, people in my
the way you said it, like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're really somebody really fucking with you."
Yeah. He was like, well, no, he was like, people. He said, "Damn, people from my city fuck with you," and so when I guess he played me the same way. He was like, in the beginning, he was like, whatever. But when he seen me do the Spice 1 show, our relationship, our communication really got open then. He was like, "Damn, you doing it in your city," And then he was like, he asked me why I wasn't, because he a core DJ. And so he asked me why I wasn't a core DJ. And I said, well, it's about, it's about 6, 7, 8 of them in my city, and I said I heard the way it worked is that they got at least 3 of them got to recommend you, and so, but I told him that being a court DJ, it was never on my list, you know. It would have been cool, but I didn't make that wasn't one of my goals, to be I mean, nobody. I'm trying to think. Let me see. I'm trying to think what show. I remember when I done Jodeci. I remember Sam asked me, was I a court DJ? And I remember, Sam kind of made a big deal about that. Sam Globe. That's his name, right? Sam Globe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sam had asked me about it, and he was like, I told him no, and he was like, I usually use core DJs, and I remember that. So, but anyway, that was the only time that it ever.
It didn't matter because you was with me.
Right.
That was overwritten.
Yeah. So not being a core DJ never, to my knowledge, it never deprived me of any opportunities. But I do,
because back then, though, Trav, it was just credibility. It was like, oh, you're a core DJ, okay, it was like you're credible. You know what I mean? Because of the union and everything that they were involved with, and the record pools and all. I remember all that stuff back then.
Well, the reason why it wasn't credible to me because I knew.
No, not you. I'm talking about the people that when he said that. I'm just giving you the reasoning why he would say stuff like that. It was like the music game was always not. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and the credibility factor.
Right.
Everything moves in that piece like that, and it's
right.
like, he's with the core DJs. Okay, yeah, bring him in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was just like it didn't matter what his name was,
right?
As long as he was affiliated, it's just like eventually, they'd be like, oh, you rock with Q? Okay, yeah, he's good. He's certified,
right,
in that aspect.
But
same thing with you.
But for me. The reason why it didn't hold no weight with me because it was a couple DJs in town that I thought was whacked, that was court that I thought was court that they was core DJs. They was core DJs, and I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, it just made me realize what you just said. It was about who you know. It was about who you know, and so. I tell you what, not being one in Toledo is kind of a telltale sign of my relationship with the other DJs in town, because that's crazy, man. I mean, just knowing how they work, and knowing how they work, which is, I hear that the process is at least 3 DJs got to recommend you to be a core DJ that's what I was told. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that's what I was told.
No, man, you could go down there to the which is like a registration, man. You would go and fill out the registration. You pay your fee.
No, that ain't it either. Because I done that. Now they got a website. I'm registered on their website.
Yeah.
I got a profile on their website, so I could have perped like I'm a core DJ, because I could have screenshot my profile picture on their website and could have been like, listen, I'm a core DJ, but I mean, I wasn't in the, I wasn't in the, taking credit for something I didn't do, but after I seen a couple guys that I just didn't, when I seen they was core DJs, I thought that being a core DJ was something special. But when I seen them 2 guys, busting the core DJ, sounder, I was like, what? I was like, come on, man.
He had credibility, but it's
I kind of knew it did. I kind of knew it did, and I think some of the DJs they hang their hat on being a core DJ too. They it's a couple guys that run around and be like, I'm a core DJ. I mean, that's at the front. When you see when they throw their profile out there or their resume out there, I'm a core DJ. Or when I talk to DJs around the country, that's the first question. I get asked that a lot. Are you a core DJ? And I'd be like, no, I'm not a core DJ. But that's a question that, that a lot of DJs ask. They ask that off the rip just to because if you are, that's instant credibility. It seemed like, if you're a core DJ, but I never need it. And my resume,
Travis, because you're still the best DJ I know.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And but anyway, enough of that. Okay, let's get back into some of these stories, man. We got 30 minutes to go. Okay, let's get into this. It says Mike Tyson declares I'm back as he shows off his hand speed and punching power. Mike Tyson is planning on making a comeback, man. What do you make of Mike Tyson getting back into boxing?
Interesting discussion. I got a text about that, and the first thing that was told to me, well, George Foreman won the title at 45. Bernard Hopkins fought till he was almost 50. And my whole thing to that is he looked good, but that's what videos do. Videos give you the best part. We don't know exactly how the whole thing, because he could have been tied in the mug, and then they just gave you the best 2 or 3 minutes out of that. He's going to sell if he decides to really do it. I heard he said he's going to do 4 exhibition fights, and then he's going to decide whether or not. But to throw his name up there to say he can fight some of the best right now, like Fury and all of those, I think that's a stretch at his age right now. But there are a lot of things that you can't take right now that can help. Look at Tom Brady; he's defying go blue.
I tell you what, let's do this. I'm gonna throw some boxing names out at you, and you tell me if you think Mike Tyson could hang with him or beat him. Andy Ruiz. You think Mike Tyson can beat Andy Ruiz right now? Or I'll give you another option. Or you think it'd be a good fight?
I think it'd be a good fight.
You think it'd be a good fight? Anthony Joshua, good fight, or Tyson will beat him, or Anthony Joshua beat him?
I think Anthony Joshua beat him.
Really?
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, and according to Mike Tyson's trainer right now, they said that his knockout, his power is still there. They said his power is still there. I can't imagine it's the same as
Trav, I wouldn't want to get in a ring with him at any age.
Right.
These are some young Thundercats, man. These are some young wolves, man. That's like saying, Trav, you want to go back and try out to go back for, it's like you could look good, but them guys are still.
So Tyson Fury. So Tyson Fury in the Bomb Squad. What's his name? What's his name?
Oh, you talking about Wilder?
Yeah, Wilder. So he wouldn't have a chance with those two guys, huh?
When you say it like that, everybody's got a puncher's chance, right?
I think those guys is too. I think those guys is too tall for Mike Tyson.
That ain't never been his problem.
No,
Tyson ain't never had a problem with
he ain't never. No, he ain't never fought a 6. He never fought anybody that was 6'6", and he never. And Tyson Fury is 6'10". So he ain't never. The tallest guy he fought was what's the one guy's name? The guy with the curl, Green.
Talking about Lenny.
Yeah, Green. Green was only like 6'5". So 6'4", 6'5". So those are the tallest guys he ever fought. And he beat Green pretty handily.
Hey man, you start hitting them gut. You start hitting them. Tyson was known, man. He start carrying them kidney punches, man. That'll bring anybody down to their knees.
Okay.
You hit a guy a couple of times in them punches. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now
you're gonna make them fold up real quick.
Now it's time for my take on it. Nah, I don't think he should, man. I think you know what? I think once you set your legacy, it's time to do something else, man. You know what? Like Tom Brady, you know what? He's still one of the best. So Tom Brady's age don't have nothing to do with him continuing to play. He's still one of the best. To me, he's still in the top 5. and
Go
so
blue, Trav.
huh?
Go blue.
That's right. So he's still, and I'm not. That ain't biased. That's just the truth, man. He's still a top 5 quarterback. And so yeah, you know what? Yeah, Tom Brady, keep doing it, man. Keep doing it as long as you think you are effective. I think that if Mike Tyson did come back, I think that he could. I think he could beat Andy Ruiz. I think he could beat Joshua Anthony. I think he could. But he wouldn't beat. I don't know. I think maybe Wilder doesn't have any skills, man. Wilder isn't. See, the thing is, Mike Tyson has better boxing skills than everybody right now, except for maybe Tyson Fury. So, no,
I agree with you, man.
Mike Tyson wouldn't beat Tyson Fury. He wouldn't beat. He's too big and too skilled. But Wilder.
What about stamina, though, Trav? What about stamina?
But what if he get in shape? What if he get in shape? And he know how to get in shape. That's all he got to do is tell whoever's training him. That's all he got to do is go back to what he used to do. Tell that trainer, this is what I used to do. If that trainer come in there and go, let's just do what you used to do, that would be good enough to beat probably everybody but Tyson Fury. But the thing is, I say don't do it. I don't want him to do it because his legacy is set already. It's set. You one of the best that ever do it, if not the best. Probably one of the best, the hardest punchers, if not the hardest. One of the scariest people to ever walk the planet, human being. And I think, I think he should just walk that, into to whatever, man. Just stay retired. He got a popping podcast. His podcast is popping. I don't know if anybody been paying attention, but Mike Tyson does a podcast with this other guy that's a professional podcaster. And so the guy running the podcast, Mike Tyson, is just basically on the set. So because of that guy, everything looked professional. That guy handled everything kind of like what we do on the show, like how I do everything, and you just show up and you're just a great chemistry person. You're a great partner. So that's basically what is happening over there. Mike Tyson and everybody want to come on the show. I mean, he had Eminem on. He had T.I. on. You know what I'm saying? He can get the big names. If his people call
because of Tyson.
Right. I know. And that's what I'm saying. He got he's making money. He has a money maker. He's relevant right now because of the podcast. So I guess I'm saying, I say that to say this is that I think he shouldn't come back. Listen, man. And hold on top of that, his weed business is popping. He got a popping weed business. He got a popping podcast. Listen, man, money ain't the issue. I think that do you ever watch his podcast? Probably not.
I've watched it before.
But everybody that come on the show, they're such a fan of his, and they pump him up. I'm telling you, everybody that come on the show pump him up. Everybody is on the show be like, I still wouldn't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So he hear that every day. I still wouldn't fuck with you. You listen, you probably get in the ring right now and I still wouldn't fuck with you. So, I think he getting pumped up. Everybody pumping him up. And so, and then I'm pretty sure they'd be like, you need to, hey man, come back, get back in the ring. So, but I just don't, at 53, I just don't want him to embarrass himself or make up his legacy, because even with the exhibition fights, I think he's going to get in the ring and somebody, he going to let a buster whoop him. And then once that's on your record, like when you having those best ever conversations, then his critics is going to be like, oh, but that dude that was a buster beat him, right. Yeah. And so I just think that it's going to tarnish his legacy if he comes back. So Mike, man, please stay retired, man. Don't come back, man. Stay gone. Okay.
But it depends on everything what you said, man. If he's got the right nutritionist, if Mike said that in an interview I heard him say that he had to let his body heal. He said that he was so distracted. He said his last 4 fights, he was like, basically, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was like, man, I don't know what I was doing with the last 4 fights. I was just out of here, And he had a lot of stuff going on with him. He said he was distracted. So if he decides that he wants to get focused, if he decides he's got the right nutrition and he thinks he got the right team around him, I give him a shot. I give him a puncher's chance, but I don't know if I wouldn't want to get in there with them young bulls, man. That's just me personally, but
Right. No. I mean, I did. I gave what I thought was some pretty good facts, which is, honestly, I think because the guys nowadays, they don't have those skills. They don't have boxing skills, man. I think yeah,
but they got youth.
Yeah, they do got youth. But I think that in order, I think Tyson Fury got the best boxing skills. And believe it or not, Andy Ruiz is in second. Andy Ruiz got the next best boxing skills. And then Anthony Joshua. And then it's probably about another 3 or 4 boxers in between Wilder. Because Wilder don't know how to box, man. Only thing he got is a punch. He don't know how to set up punches. He don't know how to put combinations together. He don't know nothing, man. So he just got that punch, man. That's all he got. So like I said,
to say to the people that got knocked out by him, what you saying? Oh, he ain't got no punches, man.
But
to get in the ring.
But when you get in the ring, he'll never beat Tyson Fury. He'll never beat if you cool with losing 3 and 4 times to Tyson Fury, because he'll never beat Tyson Fury. He'll never beat him. Unless
he did knock him down, man.
Well, he did, fight. But he got a punch. He got a punch, man. And to be honest with you, come on, man. Tyson won that first fight too. Be honest. He won that first fight too. Regardless of
I said he won.
Yeah, regardless of the knockdown, man, he still won that fight, man. They was just the industry had to put them in a position to make more money, and that's what they done. They called it a draw. When they listen, I don't know if anybody realized, and I don't think you got to be a boxing fan to realize this, but what you think, listen, the judges, the boxing judges, they score every round. They score like they constantly, when the match is over, that's all they got to do is add everything up. Why do you think I think it take them so long, because they be discussing, all the outcomes. The fight be scored when the final bell ring. The fight be scored. And I think it took them a long time to come up with that first Tyson Wilder fight. It took them a long time to come up with a draw. And they was redoing them numbers so it would, because they got to post those scores. So they got to redo those scores. That's what they was doing. They was redoing them scores so it would be a draw, so they could have another fight. And but nah, man, and I think that, see, you gonna get, and now you giving Tyson Fury even more time to get ready. I give Wilder. He gonna have him out of there.
Well, the latest on that is that what they want Fury to do is to sign and basically push back their fight, and so Fury and Joshua can fight.
I think so. I think that'll be best. I think Wilder need to take some time off and learn how to box. I think he need to. I don't think he could duck him for too long, because they trying to get paid, and him agreeing or wanting to do the rematch. I think that's about money. And I think at this point, Wilder know he can't beat that boy. He know he can. he know he can't beat that boy. Tyson whooped his ass.
You know what you sound like, man. I know you never seen Let's Do It Again, have you?
No.
With J.J. Walker?
No.
And so J.J. Walker's a string beam, right? And he's a boxer.
Right.
So when they see the heavyweight champion, he's like muscle cuts and this and that, right?
Right.
So the guy in they're doing the press conference, right? And JJ's boxer is like, they was like, they was like, you think your boxer has a chance to really beat him? He said, Junior can beat anybody. He has a puncher's chance. He can do this. And he was really hyping everything up. So after all the reporters left off the room, JJ asked him, he said, you really think? He said, nah, man, you don't have a chance in the world.
Hilarious.
That was some hard truth, man.
It
was like, nah, man, you don't have a chance in the world, man.
Hilarious.
You got to see Let's Do It Again, man. That was a funny movie, man.
I'm going to check it out tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to check it out tonight.
There you go. So don't you got some other story about something that happened recently?
I do.
Talk about?
I'm getting to that right now.
Okay.
Let's get into this.
No, what we're going to get into right now, Trav, is a station ID.
That's right. Let's go.
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. What they waiting for? Just another damn podcast. Now let's go. Go.
Okay, if you're just joining us, I forgot I had a brain fart right quick. If you're just joining us, we went through the first hour in, we almost done. It's almost time to go. Anyway, I'm going to say, the first half of the show, or the first 1 3/4 of the show, we basically been talking about us. Yeah, we been on our own nuts for most of the show, huh?
Well, you know what, though, Trav? It's cool to let the listeners know about our background stories. It's cool to let people know how we've come to who we be and what made us get. Because you asked some really good questions about that, and I think it's cool to take time out to say what makes us credible to do a podcast togetthat
Right.
And I think that was a good. I think that was a good thing.
Right.
You are so genius, man.
for those that don't know us, So, but anyway, this is what I want to talk about. Okay. Did you hear the good news? New Jack City sequel, the New Jack City movie. The sequel is in the works. What you make about that, man? You pumped up?
I don't know how to feel about that.
Were you? You know what? Yeah, Wesley Snipes didn't like it. Wesley Snipes was like, listen, he said, I don't want no parts of it. He said, because the thing is, they're not talking about doing a 2. They talking about remaking the original. And so, Wesley Snipes saying, I guess there's a fear that they might, I would think that he might be afraid that they might do a better job the second time around. And then the original, but nah, Wes, that'll never happen, man. Nino will forever live in our hearts, man. Nino Brown, am I my brother's keeper? Well, can't nobody do that like you and Alan Payne, man. You and Harry, but y'all the kings of that, man. They call Alan Payne Harry Butt because of the Jason's Lyrics movie. Remember him and Jada, they was rolling around in the field naked in his ass.
Well, who do you think they're going to get to play Nino Brown?
Marshala. You know what? If you're going to get him to replace Wesley Snipes and Blade, you might as well get him. You ain't hip to him, man. I follow his career. Matter of fact, I just seen his movie, The Green Book, the other day. Did you see the movie, The Green Book?
No, I didn't. But I loved him in Luke Cage.
That's what I'm saying. And see, that's Nino Brown-ish. Don't you agree? Don't you think that character was Nino Brownish?
Let's see, man. That's an iconic role, man.
It was, man. But
that's an iconic role.
But let me remind you, Marshala got 2 Academy. He got 2 Oscars, and Wesley doesn't have any. I'm just putting that out there.
It was the time period was different, and they were trying to give us. It was no wars back then, man. Look, if you want to bring that argument up, in 1989, no movie in that time period was better than Do the Right Thing. But guess who they lost to? Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. No, but
does that matter?
Well, no, well, hold on. See, you about to start a whole another show now because hold on, are you saying that Do the Right Thing was a good movie? Is that what you're saying?
It was a great movie.
Nah, I don't agree. I don't agree, man. No, it wasn't.
Oh,
to me, it was. Don't get me started, man.
You wasn't social conscious, so
well, yeah, right. I wasn't feeling it, man. I didn't. You know what? I love the content. I love the actors. I love Martin in it. I love everybody that was in it. I love Radio Raheem. I love that. But I'm in the stories. I'm into scripts, screenplays, and it was just, to me, it just didn't, when in the end, when they trashed the shop, I just didn't get it, man. I did, but it just didn't make sense to me. At the time when I seen it, and still when I watch it to this day, it just, Spike, to me, he didn't tie the whole movie together right, to me. I just thought that it was just chopped up. I don't think things was explained well. I don't know, man. To me, maybe if you already knew that stuff, if you was already knowledgeable of all of that stuff before going into that movie. But you know what? No, because I am knowledgeable of that stuff now, and the movie don't hit too differently from when it did when I seen it originally.
Fight the power.
Yeah, soundtrack was dope. Everything else about it, but the script, the movie, the way the movie was, the shit with Rosie Perez. I don't know.
Elvis was a hero to both.
Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack was the best thing about Do the Right Thing, man. Other than that, I just think it could have been. The content was good, but I think that it could have been tied together better. It could have been done better. It had some silly elements that I thought they should have been serious about. And like it was just, the movie was just all over the place. They just dropped, like the scene when the white dudes step on the Jordans, they just dropped that in the movie. They just dropped that in. It was dope. It was a dope scene, but they just dropped it in, man. And they dropped that into a social the movie was funny as hell, though. Martin killed me, man. I remember when he was running around talking about boycott Sal's, and Martin was like, shit, as good as the motherfuckers is. So it had its moments, but it wasn't New Jack City to me. It wasn't. I love New Jack City, man. One of my favorites.
Man, Rosie Perez jumped off the screen back then, man.
I thought she was fine. I thought she was fine, but
man, she was more than fine, dude.
But I thought the screenplay could have been better. I thought that the story could have been tied together better. They was just jumping scenes, and I just didn't get it, man. It was, and then you read the description of the movie, like when you go in and like rent it on like Prime now, and you go in and read the description. You read the description, and it make you want to see it. But once you start watching it, it just looked like he just throw things in the movie.
Was School Days better to you?
Oh yeah, I enjoy School Days. School Days was funny. That was funny. He tried to throw a social element, black versus dark or light skin in there, but I was more entertained. I didn't care. I never cared about the social messages, man. I just wanted to. The actors in the movie, I enjoy School Days, the whole fraternity sorority thing, that was new to me at the time. And so I remember I wanted to be a Q dog. I remember I wanted to be online. So that was important to me, and that was interesting to me. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed School Days. I enjoyed School Days. Malcolm X. I loved Malcolm X, man. Only reason I would love to watch Malcolm X, I think it's a 3-hour movie, and that's what keep me from watching it. I think. And
that movie go by it's so good that it don't even look like the 3 hours. It's certain films where it does say 3 hours, but it's like me. I've watched the Avengers, right?
Right.
And it doesn't seem like it's 3 hours to me.
To me, it does. And I got the same reason for both of them. I love both movies, and I would watch them more often because I'm a fan of watching movies more than once, because you know, both of them they're so good and so long that you want to watch them more than once so you can get all the information, you know, because especially with Malcolm X, man, let me tell you, I just watched it recently at like inside of 2 months, and it sent me, after I watched the movie, I had more questions. And so I went on YouTube and I wanted to know more about why they never caught the guy. I'm like, man, he got shot. 3 dudes in a crowded auditorium walked up and killed him, and they never, you know, they only caught one of the guys. And then the police said that he actually wasn't one of the guys that done it. He got charged with it, but they didn't think he done it. That's what the explanation they came up with. And so, and I did. I found a documentary. I found this guy that done a documentary about who killed Malcolm X. And if you guys get a chance, go on YouTube and check that out. And the guy doing the documentary actually finds out who killed Malcolm X, and the police are reopening the case. And let me tell you what happened. While the dude is doing the documentary, the dude that he determined killed Malcolm X died. And so that was crazy. He was just about to approach the guy and ask him about it, and the guy died like the next day. And which cast further suspicion on the circumstances surrounding him getting killed. It made me think that guy was on to finding out that he done it, and ironically he turned up dead. That was really weird, man. But anyway, moving on. So you're not in favor of a New Jack City reboot?
You know, listen. Okay, let me ask you: did you see the most recent Superfly remake?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, so, but did you see the original?
Jason Mitchell. Yeah, I seen the original. Yeah, I seen the original.
So, do you think it was comparable to that one? Do you think it was better, or do you think it did a disservice, or how do you feel?
Okay, the newer movie. Let's start with that one first. I thought they done a great job of updating it. You know, they done a great job because the newer one, I'm into everything they showed in that movie. I'm into that. I just love that big baller, dope boy, gangster shutting down the club. You and your boys coming in the club, shutting it down. I mean, I love it. I love watching that type of stuff, man. I mean, I love listening to that type of music. That you know that image that Rick Ross give up. Rick Ross was in the movie, by the way. That image, that big boss image that Rick Ross give off. You know, the new Superfly movie, it just exudes that, man. It just exudes big ballerism at its best, and that's what I'm about, man. I'm about, you know, pretending to be a boss. You know, smoking my cigars, listening to my gangster rap. That's what the new Superfly movie is all about. The other one, it was older and it's more funny than it is like serious, like the new one is. So both of them are very entertaining, man. So to answer your question, I'm gonna say just equally as good. It was equally as good, not better. It wasn't better, but it was about equally as good for different reasons. So. And I'm in favor. I just would like to see it. I would like to see, to me, it was a great script, unlike Do the Right Thing. It was a great script. And I would love to see, I would entertain, you know, somebody doing a new adaptation of the old movie. I really would love to see some new characters, but I would rather them, I guess you can't really do a 2 like 20, 30 years later, so you got to remake it. You know what? I'll take this position. You know what? Don't mess with no classic. I don't think you should mess with a classic, but I love movies, and I would just love to see, you know, a new director and a new writer spin on it. I would love to see that. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I tell you what.
Listen, I'm open to it, man. But some of the hardest films. That's like asking me what I be wanting to see. What I want to see another Menace to Society. What I want to see another Set It Off. I've heard that Lala was on. She was on her live feed, and she was saying that she would love to do a version of Set It Off comparable to the '96 version. I'm like, I think in theory that's cool to pay. If you're doing these movies to pay homage or whatever because they already got fan bases, that's cool. But it's like, I don't know, man.
I wouldn't.
What you're gonna do? You're gonna do one or two things. You're gonna piss off people who have come to love those films and know that, and be like, see, I know you shouldn't have. Or you're going to make an extraordinary film that's going to really do the other previous films just. You know what I mean? So
well, I wouldn't want to see Dead Presidents. It was just okay for me. I wouldn't want to see another one of that. Once again, it just okay. Dead Presidents, man. You know what? It was just okay.
Set it off. Dead Presidents.
Well,
Juice.
Dead.
Could you see somebody remaking Juice? Who's gonna make? How would you remake Juice?
I wouldn't want to see
Above the Rim.
I wouldn't
That's your favorite film.
Okay. Juice. I wouldn't want to see done again. Dead Presidents. I wouldn't want to see it done again. I think
Above the Rim.
Hold on. I'm taking them. Set It Off. I would enjoy that. I would enjoy seeing another Set It Off because it was powerful, action packed. Dead Presidents. I just I wouldn't want to see that again. Juice. I wouldn't want to see that again either. Set It Off. I would. Menace to Society. I don't think it's enough time. I think we need more time on that. We need more time. It ain't. I don't think enough time has elapsed for us to do another Menace to Society yet. That was just
what about Boys in the Hood?
Boys in the Hood. Yeah, well, it was the same time period, so I don't think enough time then went past to redo those. But I guess New Jack City wasn't too far from those either. Definitely not Menace. No, I'm not ready for another Menace. I still enjoy Menace. I'm not. I still want to get some more watches out of that. I'm not done with Menace yet, so I'm not ready. Don't remake that just yet. Set It Off. I would enjoy a remake of Set It Off. I would enjoy that. Juice. No, don't redo that. I don't think Juice and Dead Presidents. I don't think they were good enough to redo. Unless you came with something totally different. Those would have to be total rewrites. I don't think you could come back with the same thing.
Look, you say that, but then New Jack City was in the same time frame in a lot of these films. So how you gonna say that enough time hasn't lasted with those, but they could do one for New Jack City? Because
New Jack City, I just it falls into that category with Superfly. I just think that the rappers today, I think the rappers, I think the same storyline exists that existed back then still exists today. With the I think the way we look at the Dope Boy. Now the Dope Boys don't necessarily. I'm gonna speak for Toledo. I don't think they run the cities like they did back in the 80s. But I'm just speaking for Toledo. I don't see it, but maybe they do in bigger cities. But no, I would just enjoy seeing another New Jack City. I would love it, and especially if Marshala is. I would love to see him in that part, or Michael B. Jordan, Nino Brown. Either one. I would take either one. I think Marshala would do a better job as Nino, but Michael B. Jordan character as Killmonger in Black Panther was hard. That make me think that he got some Nino Brown in him, that he could pull it off. So yeah, I would like to see that. But hey, we got to wrap this show up, man. And
okay.
Yep. So we just hit the 2-minute mark, the 2-hour mark. So got any last words?
Yeah, man, I want to say, man, it was a blast talking with you today, man. Love the fire topics. I know we didn't get some topics, but hey, I think, you doing the sidebar and you saying you want to spend some time on our stories and where we've come to be. I thought that was a good angle for. See, that's a great DJ tactic, what you do, Trav.
Oh, yeah.
I love that DJ, man.
Oh, yeah.
I want to also say to all those who's tuned in, because I see we got a few people that's tuned in for the first time on my end. I don't know if you've seen it on your end, but I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Tell a friend. Tell people about the show, the Big Trav and Q Show, man, and to keep listening to us. And you can always check us out on all our social media platforms. I know Big Trav got it posted on our screen. Don't be afraid to call me. And, man, shout out to Denisha for calling in earlier. I know we didn't get a chance to finish that conversation, but
shout out to Denisha.
Calling in. Great sister. She's very prolific, man. Got some very good ideas about some stuff. Also, go to our YouTube page. Make sure you check out the Big Trav and Q Show. Hit that subscribe button and keep it going, man. Let us know if you love the show, if you don't like the show, if there's some things that you want to see me and Trav do, talk about. Let us know. Information is what we thrive on. And on that note, Trav, that's it for me, brother.
Well, what I wanted to end on is I just wanted to let everybody know, especially the people in the Toledo area, if you have a business or if you got a project, if you have anything that you feel like you need to get out and you want to come on our show and promote it, like my friends that work at the car dealership, if you're off during our time period and you want to call in and talk about the deals you got on your cars, call in. If you're a local artist and you got a video and you want to premiere it, come on our show. We can premiere your video on the show, your new song. If you want to talk about your projects, if you got a product, anybody that has anything that you want to promote, like I said, give us an inbox, give us a call, give us a text, and we'll have you on the show. Come on the show and talk about it. We want you to do that. I'm gonna throw the number up here on the screen right quick. There's the number on the screen right there, and I'll give you guys the number is right on the screen. Just text me or inbox me if you know me, and if you want to come on the show and promote anything, we'll be happy to have you on, do an interview, and you can let everybody know what you got going on. And that's all I got to say. So until tomorrow, see everybody tomorrow.
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. They waiting for just another damn podcast. Now let's go. Go.
It's the Big Trav and Q Show. So what you gonna do, bro? Q is from D-Town. We chillin' in the Momo. Travis from the mud. We call it Glass City. Swoop some red bones, and they was acting shifty. It's the Big Ballin' Podcast. All the others hot trash. 6 o'clock on the dot. Better make a quick dash. All the hot topics getting played in the tropics. We picking up steam. Yo, Q, they can't stop it. Let's go.